Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Pete, or Russian Handmade. First thing before we get into the topic today, I just wanted to apologize for such a delay in the content. It's been about probably over a month at this point, and I know it was bad. I know, don't get mad at me. But now I have a new mic. Hopefully this one sounds better. The reviews on Amazon were saying that it was a studio quality mic, and so let's hope for that. But if not, you can definitely let me know in the comments and we'll see what we can do to fix that. But hopefully it's good. Today's topic I wanted to talk about was how I got my start in gaming in general and why do I love games so much. And I just wanted to share like a few games that really stood out to me as a kid and kind of fueled my passion for gaming. So let's rewind the clock back to the year 2000. At the turn of the millennium, I was about 4 years old, going on 5. And my family and I were living in Florida at the time. And I had a babysitter named Sandra, who, shout out, was like the best babysitter of all time. Don't even at me, doesn't matter, because she was just far better beyond anybody else. But she had 2 sons who were about middle school age, and they had a Super Nintendo and a copy of Donkey Kong Country. And I remember this very clearly because I went into like the play area, and it was like in the corner on a shelf, and I was like, "What is that box over there? It looks gray. What does it do?" And so her sons were like, "Oh, that's a video game system," and then they proceeded to explain what on earth was a video game because I'm 4 years old and I have no concept of that. And so they plugged it in, turned it on, put the game in, and played it for a bit. And I was like, "Oh, that is so awesome!" Because all the games that I know, you have to play with your parents, like or like family card games and stuff. And they were like, "No, you actually get to control him, and like you can like throw things, and you can jump, and you can like make him do whatever to get through the level." And I was like, "This is awesome." And then I completely forgot about video games like for a very long time. I think I had one Game Boy around that time, but again, as a 4 or 5-year-old, every game is like an impossible challenge. They're like super hard. Maybe that was just me, or maybe that was the concept back then of just making games really difficult for kids. But yeah, it's okay. You know, we all grow and move on beyond those ages. But I remember having a Game Boy, but like not really playing it all the time until about 2002. And this is around the time when the very first Spider-Man came out, the Sam Raimi version with Tobey Maguire. And my Uncle Pete had just gotten the original Xbox. He let me play the first level of that game, and instantly all of my perceptions about games were different. Because I had previously seen like Donkey Kong Country, which was like a 2D, like flat, you move left and right, up and down, that's about it. But this game, you could swing anywhere you wanted. He was fully modeled after the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, and I was like, oh my god, I love that movie, even though it terrified me because, let's be honest, Green Goblin was, ugh, you know. And even to this day, sometimes I see Willem Dafoe in like photos or different films, and I'm like, weren't you that really creepy dude from that other Spider-Man film? But that's besides the point, and Willem Dafoe is a great actor now, so I kind of get past my own hang-ups. But I remember begging my father to buy us an Xbox so I can play this Spider-Man game, and him telling me, well, I don't really know if you would, you know, it's kind of really expensive, you know. And I just, what can I do, Dad? What can I accomplish that would get you to get me a system? And so he kind of gave me the traditional, like, well, if you do well in school and you don't make any trouble and you listen to your mom and you do your chores, and okay, then maybe I'll get you an Xbox. So you better believe I worked my butt off to make sure I got good grades in school. I didn't cause any trouble, get into trouble with my teachers. So every time somebody's like, yo, Pete, I want to talk to you about something in class, and I'm like, nope, you ain't costing me my Xbox. I did what I needed to do. I grinded hard, my little 7-year-old self, and I said, you know what? This is going to be worth it. And it was. Me and my dad went to not GameStop. It was Toys R Us, believe it or not, back in the day, in 14th Street Union Square in New York. And I remember they had the game section on the first floor all the way to the left, kind of like out of the way, and making a beeline for that, and then buying a system, and then not realizing that Spider-Man didn't come with my game console. Like, I had to buy it separately, and that kind of broke my little 7-year-old heart, but I kind of got over it. And so eventually I got the game, and I played it, and it was amazing and so much fun. Never beat it though. Again, I felt like every game back then was this really difficult, impossible challenge, and so I would get to maybe the second or third level of a game and then just be like, I can't beat it. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, and just dying over and over again. So that was Spider-Man, and that kind of really ignited my passion for gaming. Like, okay, this is something like it's really fun, and I want to keep doing. Fast forward 2 years now into 2004, and I have fallen in love with Star Wars, believe it or not. Who hasn't, really? And Attack of the Clones had just come out. I remember seeing that live in the theater with my mom, and all of a sudden this new game, Star Wars Battlefront, came out. And I went to a friend's house. I think his name was Jason. He had a PlayStation 2, and he and I played that game for what must have been like 6 hours straight. I mean, we did not get up to eat, we did not get up to drink, we did not get up to go to the bathroom. We just played Star Wars. And at the end of all that, I remember saying, man, I wish this game was on Xbox, because I would totally be able to play this at home. And he's like, oh, it is. Because in my head, only games, like when a game released and it was on a certain system, my brain said, oh, it's only available on that system. So him telling me like, no, you can buy this for your Xbox, you can go like now if you wanted to, and I was like, okay. So I told my dad. He said no, but he did promise that if I worked really hard, I could get it at the end of the term. Kind of like all my games. I basically got 2 games a year, like at the 6-month point in like June, and then at the end of the year in December for Christmas. That was like it. That was just when the games were available to me, and so I really had to pick carefully which ones I wanted, and sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't. But for Star Wars Battlefront, it definitely did. So I remember getting it sometime in November, and then just taking it home and beating it that same day. Now, mind you, this campaign wasn't really a campaign. It was kind of like recreating certain little storylines from the films. But still, in my head, I beat the game, and I was like, oh my god, I've gotten so good at video games. I can beat a game in one day. Yeah, that's how silly I was back then. So, fast forwarding a year, Star Wars Battlefront 2 comes out, and I was actually able to play at Jacob Javits Center Star Wars Battlefront 2 an alpha build of the game, because I'm pretty sure the version I played was not the version that was released, because there was a bunch of different changes later on. I can't remember all of them, but I remember like the interface looked a little different, and you could do different things in the alpha that they cut out later for the full build of the game. But my mom had found out in like I think it was the New York Post had made a statement like, oh, they're having a free expo at Jacob Javits today for anybody who's interested. And I didn't even realize, because they had mentioned something about Star Wars in the article, but they weren't very specific, like, oh, a Battlefront 2 demo will be available. And so when I got there, I was like blown away. I had to immediately play this game. Of course, I had like a time limit, but it was actually a multiplayer demo, so you got to play with the other people in the area, like in the actual building on a LAN connection. And I didn't do too bad. I even got a pin, an actual Star Wars Battlefront 2 pin that said, I think, continue the fight, or the fight continues November 2005. And I was like, gotta get this game. Definitely gotta get this game. But those are some of the games that really meant a lot to me as a kid and kind of fueled my gaming like passion. And so now I'm on PC, and things are largely the same. I still love playing different types of games. I've kind of fallen out of only playing first-person shooters, because in my teens that's really all I cared about, like that and maybe Batman, the Arkham games, maybe Uncharted when they came out every once in a couple of years, but it was primarily first-person shooters. But I feel like now things have really opened up since I've gotten to PC, and I really love the different types of games you can have here. But most of them that I've been playing are kind of like free games, or very inexpensive, because all these like launchers have really great sales. Like recently, me and some friends have been playing Uno online, or Monopoly. Mind you, be very careful when you play Monopoly with people, because even though you're not in the same room, it can definitely tarnish some friendships, to be quite honest with you. But that's besides the point. A lot of the games that I've been playing now are kind of like party games, or very casual, chill games, primarily because I get tired of yelling at Call of Duty. I'm playing COD Mobile in the background, and this is kind of like easy man's COD in a way, because it's very less serious. You know, no one from Modern Warfare is trying to get nukes every game or embarrass you on camera. So I play this to be like, all right, let me still get my Call of Duty fix. Yeah, I'll play Modern Warfare to get like the new content, but it's not a drive for me anymore to be like, oh, I gotta get to max level, I gotta get gold, I gotta prestige. And I can't even prestige with the new games, but back when that was a thing, you could do that. And so I really enjoyed my time throughout my gaming history, from the original Xbox, the PlayStation 2, the Nintendo Wii, the Nintendo DS. is it just me, or did the Nintendo DS tend to break very easily? I had like 2 or 3 of them at a given time. But beyond that, like PlayStation Portable, PS3, Xbox 360. We do have a Switch. Me and my wife have a Switch in our living room, which we barely touch, unfortunately, because we only have one controller for it, and so it kind of gets a little difficult playing multiplayer games together. But eventually we'll get another controller for that, and maybe I'll have some gameplay from Nintendo Switch in the future, if Nintendo doesn't get mad at me. But yeah, I had a lot of different game consoles, a lot of different funs with different types of games. Maybe I'll do a follow-up to this sometime in the future, but that's just a little bit of snapshot of why I love gaming, because it's a part of my childhood that I have a lot of great memories from, a lot of great friendships built, even with people I'd never ever met. I had great friendships with, because we would find each other in lobbies and then just party up from then on. But anyway, the video is coming to a close. Thank you guys very much for watching this. I know it's been a very long time since the last one, but hopefully with the new schedule I have, it'll be a little bit easier to make content for the future. Thank you very much once again. Please leave a like, favorite, subscribe if you like the content. Let me know in the comments down below what stood out to you, or what kind of games meant a lot to you guys growing up. And so with that, peace out.